So I think it's time I visit the origins of the Furry 101 series by Dr. Lando. So let's get into it. What's up, everyone? My name is Spectre, and welcome back to another react of Dr. Lando's Furry 101 series, where we explore the furry fandom in the eyes of the good professor. So I've reacted to a few of his videos already, and I figured it's time that I reacted to the first Furry 101 video, the reasons why you're actually a furry. But I don't think we should waste any more time. Let's get into the video, shall we?
Okay, so again, I'm Professor Lando, and this is Furries 101. So
Furries
this comes
101.
from Urban Dictionary,
Small hiccup.
right? Okay, can you guys read that right there? Someone with
Is interested in
interest
anthropomorphic animals.
in anthropomorphic animals.
Alright,
So what is anthropomorphic?
good so far.
I'm not really sure. I'm just gonna guess. Kind of like humanoid, I think. Like
He's just gonna guess. Just like most other teachers that I've had to interact with within the past. Most teachers don't exactly know what they're doing. They just kind of read off of a curriculum. And I don't blame them. There's a lot of information to take in.
it's upright, and it's kind of got like humanoid body proportions. Yes, let me try to
Correct.
illustrate. Bunny, it's in the name. Animal, right? This is the animal
An
aspect.
anthro or
All right.
I
Okay,
don't
I
I
gotta be
can't read
very
that.
careful now. Here, this is dicey
Or
territory.
human.
This is a furry. Okay, this is
Lola Bunny is probably the most generic furry out there, including others such as Crystal, Lucario, Baneri, if we're going into the Pokemon sense anyway. Lots of generic furries out there, and Lola is definitely probably one of the top of the lines.
no, no. Yes. No. Wait a minute. Hold on. This is not a furry. This is what the best thing about class is. This is what the best we learn together. This is not a
Of
furry.
course.
A furry is someone who likes what is this? This is what we were talking about. This is an anthropomorphic because the animal here, you see bunny ears, it's a bunny-esque, right? This is bunny ears. And
Lola Bunny is a bunny.
It's got the human, it's upright, okay? It stands on two legs. It's got like a head, right? And this is, you know, head. And a furry
Ha. Ha ha
is
ha.
someone who with that has interest in this. And what is this? Anthropomorphic animal.
Correct.
How fast do you have to be to outrun a furry in its natural habitat?
You ever hear that song about the kids with the pumped up kicks? You gotta run about that fast.
That's a good question, but let me turn it on you. It's not the furry that you have to outrun. You know, if we're doing things right, the furry's got to outrun you. Know what I'm saying? This is quite a famous diagram used amongst
That could go in
professors
several
teaching
different
furries.
implications.
I'm not exactly sure of the origin, but I went online and I yoinked it, and I'll be presenting to you. So that's just a caveat here. I'm not the originator. The furry scale. What are we going to be
Okay,
talking about here?
we
This is
touched
the
on
furry
this in
scale.
a
This is
later
sort of
episode.
classification for, you know, one, the most simple question of all, like, are you a furry? Am I a furry? Right? But also, it's just
Important
the world
questions.
is not black and white. There's hues of grays. There's in between, right? Let's not be on one side or the other.
Of course.
There's wiggle room. There's like a pseudo.
And let's not take and beat around the bush here. Even people who are not furries are not a zero. There's a lot of people that I know that are not furries, unless they claim not to be furries, that are like, oh no, I'm not interested in furries, and then they take and see some anthropomized version of Nala, for instance, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'd tap that," and I'm like, you do realize that you're on at least the scale of two or maybe three in this regards. We'll get to the scale here in just a moment, but come on, man, don't kid yourself. You're probably a furry.
Zero, right? And that's just a person, okay? So this is
That's just a
just a
normie.
normal person. It's not technically a part of the scale, but this is just normal. Sorry, not normal. Let's use a different let's use a different term because I don't want to be the
Normal.
guy to say that furries aren't normal. All right, let's that's Jane.
I mean, furries are not normal. Then again, if furries were normal, I don't think I would want to be normal. I don't like being normal. It's kind of boring.
That's dangerous territory. Baseline. Okay. Okay, so what's one? What's one? It's just the same thing, but
Add some ears and a tail to it.
what's different?
That's about the
It's
basics
just a
of
person.
the first ladder,
What's here?
anyway.
Right.
Or the first
Here.
step.
And here. The cat ears and cat tail. Or any kind of ears, but it's the main thing, the main distinction to make is that it's just a person, same thing, baseline person, you know. If you want to get really risky, you say just normal, both cat ears and a cat tail. And this is commonly known as, you know, not furry. You're good. Number
That is
two,
correct.
now we're starting to, you know, in the Matrix when he's like blue pill, red pill, we're starting to get into some sort of territory. You know what I mean? Okay.
Some
Okay.
sort of
I see
territory.
what's going on. So,
That
all
oh,
right. So, two.
he draws very
We're
well.
still upright, but what's different here? What do we notice? We got a little more. We got paws, but we're getting a little more feral. It's we're still human. Okay, we're
There's
still
just a
upright.
couple
We
extra
still got
features.
a pretty humanoid face. You can look in their eyes and still see a soul. There's still a soul there. It's in fact, if it was dark,
I don't know if I should be offended by that. Should I be offended by that? I don't know if I should be offended by that. Somebody tell me if I should be offended by that.
if it was dark, you might not even realize that this is different from this. We're a little hairier, semi-furry. So, what do we got here? We are becoming much more primal. We're
Ah,
returning
yes.
to monkey right here. Okay,
We are
we got
now
paws,
in furry
but now
territory.
they're beyond just kind of having like a little bit of paw action. We got full blown haunches, body completely
Haunches?
fur, all fur. The head you see here, right? These two and this one
3 is
even,
essentially
we're
just
maintaining
baseline
a very
furry.
humanoid head.
I'm pretty sure that's where most
But 3 is
furries
where we
lie.
start to become more animalistic. However, you notice here that we're still maintaining an upright, and and if you look in their eyes, you can still see a soul, and we still got the humanoid hair. Like it's like maybe it's you know
I still don't know if I should be offended by that. Whatever, continue.
kind of like there's like a blending between human characteristics and animal characteristics. But we see no shirt here, but the plume because the whole body is furry. Okay? And maybe that's apt because this
That is furry.
furry. This is where the line is crossed. 4. This is okay, listen. Let me just say over the course of the semester here at Ligma University, we're going to be covering the progression of humanity. Listen to me. Human civilization didn't get to where it was by holding back. My favorite quote
Correct.
from Hunter x Hunter, Netero, is never underestimate the human potential for evolution. Right? As we can see.
That's
And I just want to say
true
that
words never
we need
spoken.
to not
which are
be
just never spoken
wary
by
of
a human
venturing
character
into
in real life, anyway.
difficult territory with some subjects. So that being said, let me just say now that is maybe we are entering some sort of territory here. Oh God. All right. So
This is
four.
where
What
most
do we have
people
here?
usually
You
end
can
up
see here early on the progression is
going a
very
little bit too
gradual.
far.
And then there's such a
If you hit
there is
5,
a
you've gone
clear
too far.
distinction between 4 and 3. Way more animalistic. This is what I'd like to call it this is the Disney level, right? This is like Cinderella
It's
animals
like
and
woodland
the
creature
haunches.
level from South
The
Park.
general proportions of the animal are much more animal-like. We have a snout. Okay?
I think you can still have a snout
what
at
is
the 3rd
key
level.
here, okay? And at
It's
this
just
point,
that the 4th level is going a little bit
there's no doubt about it.
too much to the distance.
But I would like to point out that here we're still maintaining it. It still has a soul. It's upright. It can like do its little animal talks and dances and whatever. But it's sentient still. There's still a human mind, maybe. It's definitely humanoid, but at this point only in spirit. Dangerously furry. 5.
Dangerously furry.
That's just an animal.
Out pops the cheetah.
That's just a fox.
That's just an animal.
Beady eyes.
That's when people go too far.
No soul. Only the instinct.
Although I will say that quad suits are
just a fox. See,
pretty crazy looking.
Even
If you've ever seen a quad suit, there's a lot of work going into those, and they're kind of nice.
Even here, there's still some sense of sentience. There's a human soul somewhere, if even just a little tiny bit. But this is
just a tiny bit.
This tier is.
What are you doing?
What are you doing, you sick? That's 5. Sorry, we don't want to get demonetized. This is what we. Yeah, the cursing is what's going to get us demonetized. What are you? I want to see. I want to get.
It's the cursing, not the furry.
Okay, I need to get
smut.
a feel for the class to see where we're at here. I will say, you know what? Me personally, I think I'm a 3. Now, here's a caveat though. I'm not an active 3. I'm not looking for it. I'm not part.
So it is confirmed, apparently, that Professor Lando is a furry, and he stays within the 3 boundary, which is where I would recommend most furries preferably stay. Despite the fact that I do know that people in the 5 category, or at least want to go to the 5 category, exist, which is a bit unfortunate.
Participatory. If you what was I saying? Okay, see, I'm not an active participant. I'm not in the jungle. I'm not wearing the stuff. I'm not seeking it out. Someone said, a great man once said, luck.
Me and him are quite the opposite.
What does being lucky mean? There's no such
We
thing.
both might be furry,
what luck is,
but I
being able to
seek
take
it out.
advantage of opportunities when they present themselves. Let me just say, there's something to be said here. 0 is just as weird to me personally as 5. Like if you're 0.
And that is one of the big takeaways I think is very prominent in this lesson, is that even if I wasn't particularly a furry, I would still probably be at the very least a 1. 0 is just like, what are you doing? Of course you're going to take and probably see something like this and more than likely like it. Don't take and kid yourself. You're going to take and be at least a 1. If you're not a furry, you're probably at least a 1. Which is why 0 is pretty weird. Although 5 might still be weird, but it's taking a little bit too far weird.
0, you're not gonna go for 1. It's just the cat ears and tail. Like 0, if
that's just an enhancement.
You're just like, no, I'm 0. That's some Ted Bundy shit. That's some serial killer shit. I think that 0 is just as weird as 5. See, okay, so let me rescind my comment. Like,
Don't
I
be
think
Ted Bundy.
if you push me to my limits, if I went even further beyond, if I was to say, I'm the Goku of furrydom, I'm willing to 3. But in terms, I think maybe I can consider myself an active 2. Semi-furry? Like, what is that? You know, you guys know .hack sign, Mia?
I don't know. Mia's still kind of a 3.
You guys know, wait, is it Mia? I think it's Mia. I don't know.
I
There's a
don't think
character
he's.
in
I don't think
.hack
he's
which
got the
was
right person.
definitely my furry awakening. All right, remember, get it all. I don't do slides. I don't do PowerPoints. I don't upload anything online. Well, I do, but it's all in Chinese and encrypted in Chinese, and you need to know Chinese to do it. And that's just the way Ligma University works. I don't know why.
Don't worry. I'm decrypting it back into English. That way you all can. That way you all can understand it. It's. I took Chinese in high school. It was a pretty fun class. I didn't learn a whole lot, but at least I learned how to kind of decode Chinese. So you know, you can thank me later in the comments.
They don't offer any translations, no English, no nothing. So I mean, if you know Chinese, you'll be able to navigate the sites and be able to find the resources. But if you don't, you got to copy it down because I don't post it anywhere else. Okay, moving on.
That's the end of the video, folks. Well, it looks like the origins of this Furry 101 story definitely started out pretty strong. The professor definitely knows what he's talking about. It seems that he's actually a furry himself, so that's a huge bonus in my book. And of course, a lot of pretty good points come up of 0 being just as weird as the 5 scale, although the 5 scale is going a little bit too far. And everything else is pretty much accurate as well. Furries are interested in anthropomorphic animals. As for me, am I interested in anthropomorphic animals and still furry? Kinda. I actually kind of completely forget sometimes that I'm interested in that stuff. I'm kind of just a furry to be a furry. Sure, of course, I like old 90s cartoons with anthro animals. Zootopia is also a really, really good movie. But I think after a while I've grown out of that stuff. Not necessarily grown out of watching it, of course I'll still watch it. But I kind of forgot about the origins of how I got into being a furry, and I'm now just kind of a furry to be a furry. So take that as you will. But I certainly thank you all for watching. I will leave socials and things down in the description. You know the whole routine. And of course, I am streaming on Twitch very frequently, so I will also leave a link down to that below. I certainly can't wait to see what the good professor comes up with next, and we will definitely be looking into that as he releases videos. So, for your comprehensive explanations by Furry on Furry videos, hit that subscribe button, possibly even the notification bell. I mean, it's right next to it, so why not? So I hope you all have an absolutely amazing day. You all take care. We will see you in the next video, and Spectre out. Actually, a furry. Keep booping the microphone.